Hey guys, GameZach here and welcome to my top 10 PC strategy games to watch in 2017. Now, after many years of strategy games being in the background of gaming, the genre seems to be back in full force with a bunch of new real-time and turn-based experiences on the way. Well, it's time to drop your battle plans for the strategic challenges of 2017. First up, we've got SpellForce 3 by Grimlore Games. An RTS with RPG elements set in a fantasy universe. Experience war-torn times as you command your troops, level and gear up your heroes, and expand your territory in a 30-hour campaign or multiplayer. This one looks like it's shaping up nicely, but we haven't really seen all that much yet. We'll need to watch its development to see if it can live up to its fullest potential. Next we have AI War 2 by Arcen Games. A grand strategic RTS against an inhuman enemy that has conquered the galaxy. The enemy has underestimated you, so steal technology, fortify your position, and target your attacks in the strategic space game by yourself or in up to at least 8-player co-op. Full modding support is also a thing. Although the first game got generally good reviews, some still felt like it was lacking in its ability to compel, though if the sequel manages to push the series forward and improve upon the formula, it should be a good experience. Next up we have Northguard by Shiro Games. Vikings set sail to a new land filled with undead, dire wolves, and giants in this RTS based on Norse mythology. Establish your settlement, assign jobs to your people, collect resources, expand your territory, and achieve different victory conditions against your friends or the AI. This looks like an interesting addition to the strategy genre, but it's another one where we haven't seen all that much, and it might be a little bare bones. It's going into early access in February though, so we'll get a good look then. And then we've got BattleTech by Harebrained Schemes. The first turn-based tactical BattleTech game coming to PC in over 2 decades. Modern turn-based combat PvP multiplayer and a story-driven, mercenary-styled campaign set in the 3025 era. Going into the BattleTech universe is refreshing and it looks very promising so far. We'll be able to get a better look at this one through 2017 and hopefully it turns out as awesome as it's already looking. Next we have Shardbound by Spiritwalk Games. A collectible tactics game that interestingly has Twitch integration built in. Turn-based PvP tactics gameplay with hundreds of units and spells, guilds, co-op questing, and designed to be community-driven, where you can fight under a streamer's banner or play with your audience as a streamer. Games built with audience interaction in mind is still a relatively new concept. This could be a game changer or just a novelty, though if the game itself turns out solid, it should be worth it either way. Then we've got Xenonauts 2 by Goldhawk Interactive. Turn-based tactics in a sci-fi setting with aliens. Originating as a spiritual successor to UFO Enemy Unknown from 1994, the game is now going in its own direction with the sequel. Deeper storytelling, better graphics, improved combat, more choices, and air combat. If you like the original XCOM or tactics games with aliens, you should like this one. There's also a free demo, so you can go check it out now. Next up we've got Sudden Strike 4 by Kite Games. The return of a real-time tactics series set in World War II. Choose a leader and command Allied, German, or Soviet troops as you lead over 100 different units into battle and prove your expertise in over 20 single-player missions and competitive multiplayer. Mod support with Steam Workshop integration is also on the way. This looks like a nice steady step forward for the series with general improvements, and it should be a good game to focus on the tactics of war. And then we have Total War Arena by Creative Assembly. A Total War RTS MOBA type thing, plus it has the scary term of free-to-play attached to this team-based strategy game with up to 10v10 battles. It sounds like it could be fun, but it could also be a complete disaster. After being taken offline to revamp some things, the game is now back and continues development into a new closed alpha. Taking the game down to make it better indicates that the developers are committed to creating the right experience and aren't rushing things. If their revamp works out, then this could be an interesting addition to the Total War series. Next we have Halo Wars 2 by 343 Industries and Creative Assembly. an RTS in the Halo universe. The original only released on console at first, but they've brought on the Total War developers to bring it to the PC. Meant to be a fast-paced RTS, it has a big focus on multiplayer with a multitude of modes to choose from, but it does seem to be leaning to a slightly more casual experience. I personally had a rough time with the beta, with not only the game crashing, but it forcing my PC to shut down entirely, and that was a month before release. Hopefully all the technical issues will be fixed quickly, though I'd still be wary about buying it before or on release. Finally, we've got Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 3 by Relic Entertainment. Warhammer 40k is always an epic setting, and here's a new iteration of this RTS series. Face an enemy with a catastrophic weapon, control giant war machines, and wage war with massive armies in a 3-faction campaign and multiplayer. Play as the Space Marines, Eldar, or Orcs as you wreak havoc across the volcanic terrain and on space battle cruisers. So far, some have criticized the game for looking too cartoony or being too much like StarCraft. Hopefully things get more refined through the year and it turns out great. Now for some bonus games. Endless Space 2 was listed last year and it entered early access in 2016 and should be completing this year. Pit People. This should be completed next year and is in early access now. It's just amazingly hilarious and looks like a fun tactics game. Drop Zone, an RTS MOBA thing, which is all about the micro with customizable rigs. Empires of the Undergrowth, an Ant RTS like Empire of the Ants, which is currently in development. And then looking a little bit further in the future, Iron Harvest is an RTS set in an alternate reality in the early 20th century. It's in development now and scheduled for 2018. Stronghold Next, which is a codename for the next Stronghold, was teased but we haven't seen anything. The StarCraft 1 HD remaster is supposedly in the works. And Eugen Systems, the creators of Active Aggression, say they are currently working on 2 top-secret projects, which we can only guess would be strategy games. And that's it for the bonus games. Now, most of these games should be releasing in 2017, but either way you should keep an eye on developments to see if these games will strike while the iron is hot or advance in the wrong direction. And to wrap up, here's something I'd like to know. Do you prefer playing strategy games as single-player experiences, or are you all about the multiplayer? Personally, I tend to stick to a good single-player campaign, but can't argue with the occasional multiplayer with friends. Let me know what you like. Alright, that wraps up my top 10 PC strategy games to watch in 2017. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop me a like or share it with your friends. The support is always appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.